How's it? Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to continue my journey looking into American sports. And as a suggestion in one of the comment sections on the previous video, I think I'll have a look at NASCAR. I know nothing about motor racing in general. I know a little bit about Formula One, but well, let's see what NASCAR is all about. So this is a video called 5 Things You Should Know About NASCAR.
Here are 5 things you should know before watching NASCAR. Number 1. Loose and tight. These are conditions in which the car is driving. What this means is, basically in a left-hand turn, the car can either try to shoot for the wall, or it can try to rotate to the left and spin out. If the car is
Why would
trying
it want to spin out? Rotate to the left. I guess they mean drifting a little, sliding maybe. Let's see.
to push towards the wall, you need to drive the car with less throttle. This is called a tight condition. If the car tries to rotate towards the inside of the track, you also need to use
That's
less throttle.
fishtailing.
This is called a loose condition.
I can fishtail. Overload your car. Drive down the highway.
NASCAR teams are always in search of a balanced race car. The more balanced the race car is, the more throttle the driver can use through the corner. That means they're faster. Teams address this issue by changing all 4 tire pressures, changing all the spring rates, changing the way the shocks behave, and they do this asymmetrically since the car only has to turn left. What you end up with is a million combinations between the left and right to figure out how to get a car to be balanced.
So the tracks all go the same way. I presume that's anti-clockwise. Only turning left. Well, I would assume that changes the entire setup of the car. So one side would be, I guess, tight and the other side loose because they're always leaning to the right. Okay. Then the tire pressure has to change on the left and the right. That makes sense. Why do they always go the same way? Do they not race clockwise at any time? Okay.
Things that can affect a car to make it loose or tight can be the track temperature, the banking, the speed at which the car enters the corner, and basically every other thing that you can think of. Number 2.
Okay, so the tracks all have a bank on it. They're not flat. Okay, that would make sense if they're going round in an oval. I guess you can gather more speed. I would assume there are more crashes if it was flat. But being on a bank track, I would assume the speeds are horrendously fast.
All of the tracks are very different. People like to get heated about this topic, but there's really only one answer. Although all the tracks share a characteristic, they all turn left, that's pretty much as far as the similarities go. Some tracks are concrete, some tracks are asphalt, some tracks have a lot of banking, some tracks are different at one end, some tracks are super long, some tracks are super short. After all this, you get a complete circuit of tracks that are...
So the tracks don't all have to be the same length. I presume you have no uniformity when you race from track to track. So each track would have its own personality. That's interesting. I wonder how long each track is, and how many laps do they do?
are completely different and all create unique races. Number 3. NASCAR relies on strategy. While drivers are on the track performing at high speed, the crew chiefs are looking at how to manage their tires and fuel to get them through the race in the most efficient way possible.
Okay, that's standard racing parlance. Formula One, I think, does the same thing. I have watched some Formula One in the past, but many years ago.
Tire wear is a big deal in NASCAR. As drivers push their cars to the limits, tires wear away to nothing, and they could become in danger of exploding. The more laps on a set of tires, the less grip they have. Less grip equals slower lap times.
So the wear on the tires must be horrendous. So do tires last an entire race? Or do they have to make stops to change the tires like I guess they do in Formula One as well? Is there a limit on the number of pit stops they can make? Did those tires just burst into flames? My goodness, the, the friction on the rubber must be incredible.
Fuel is also a hot commodity. NASCARs don't contain enough fuel in them to go from beginning to end of a race. They need to stop and refuel. This is where critical pit stops come into play.
Okay, so fuel is an issue. So I would assume they go on as little fuel as possible, relying on a certain number of pit stops. Is that correct? Then they can change the tires at each pit stop. Is it as fast as Formula One? I've seen Formula One tire changes in like 5 seconds.
Pit crews in NASCAR service a car in under 12 seconds, replacing all 4 tires and refueling
It's
the car.
incredible.
Crew chiefs plan strategies. Knowing when to pit is critical to minimize the time on pit road. Pitting also gives teams an opportunity to adjust their car. If the car is too
If I want to rotate my tires on my car, I need to book it in for the entire day. Where can I find a crew like this? It would be amazing. What is that tall pillar in the middle? I assume those are the racers, the drivers' names. 12 seconds for a pit stop. That's absolutely amazing.
too loose or too tight, the team can adjust air pressures and different parts of the suspension during a pit stop.
What?
Teams have gone from running in the top 15 to running in the top 5 in under a few pit stops. Number 4. The driver's job behind the wheel is difficult.
Yes.
NASCARs are difficult to drive. They have a lot of power, and this power is very difficult to control. To be a good driver, you have to have good perception, good hand-eye coordination, and also be able to control the throttle and feel the physics of the car around you to make sure that you're not giving it too much throttle as to where the car is going to lose traction, and also to make sure that you're not giving up time on the track. I heard a quote one time, and I'm not sure where it came from. I think it was somebody in F1 maybe. They said a good driver has a good ass. And this isn't looks, mind you. This is basically the sensitivity of your body to change around you, to make sure that you can feel the vibrations of the car. Practice in racing is called seat time for a reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Drivers not only have to have a sensitive body that can feel the physics of the car around them, they also have to be strong decision makers.
At those kind of speeds, you have to be so in tune with the vehicle you're in. You have to understand every single sound, feel, vibration. Having said that, they're just going round and round on the track. I mean, I don't mean to insult the sport. It's wonderful. I need to look into more of this. I mean, there seem to be a lot of cars on the track. How do you know on such a relatively short track? Is it easy to keep a track of who's in front? I mean, obviously you have to see which, each car looks different. Interesting.
Drivers have to decide where they're going to place the car in a corner to maintain the most momentum. They do what's called racing the track.
At the corners. Listen to that engine.
Drivers have
Beautiful
to
sound.
adjust their style depending on the track, banking, how much rubber is on the track, and the temperature.
Look at the fences. When these cars wipe out, they could actually roll into the crowd. Is that how fast they're going? I mean, how much fuel is in one car? I mean, the combustibility of a car must be insane. Wow.
Not only do drivers have to race against the track, they also have to race against 39 other drivers. This makes a lot of the racing tight, with drivers being inches away from one another on the track. Races are also long, and the temperatures inside the cars can get extremely hot.
So 40 cars on one track. How long is a track? Is it a mile? I mean, I don't know kilometers I work in generally, but I would say, is it a mile long? It says it's long, so it must be a lot of laps. All right, so you just time each car, obviously, so it's easy to keep track. But I mean, as a spectator at the sport, are you there for the sound and the feel? I mean, there must be obviously great excitement with overtaking. There must be plenty of crashes with 40 cars on the track. That's incredible. With the amount of gear this guy's wearing, I mean, he must lose 2-3 kilos or more in every race just in sweat alone. That's incredible. There's a lot of sponsorship in this car. Interesting branding.
Racers can be in 140-degree heat inside of a car for upwards of 3, 4, even 5 hours depending on cautions. This takes a lot of stamina and
I have to work that into Celsius, but that's pretty damn hot for 3, 4, or 5 hours. How do you survive this? They must have monitored. With today's technology, I assume that they monitor every aspect of the driver's life. I mean, do guys actually pass out in the car? I mean, imagine the amount of water, just water alone they need while they're racing. That adds to the weight. Incredible.
endurance, because their power steering units aren't exactly light like an average daily driver. So think back to the conditions of loose and tight that we talked about earlier. Imagine being a driver battling one of those conditions, struggling to keep a hold of your car in 120-degree temperatures for 3 hours straight.
40 Celsius?
Some people ask me, how can one driver be faster than another when they're all driving the same cars in an oval? Well, think about it. All the cars are set up differently, and all the drivers have different minds. So it's easy to imagine how one driver can be faster than another on a certain condition.
Okay, that's understood. I mean, every condition is different. Every car is different. Are there regulations as to how much power one can put in a car? I mean, theoretically, you could just put a jet engine in there, but obviously there's a limit as to how fast the car can actually go on a track without flying away.
Another thing to mention is drafting. When one car gets behind another car, a pocket of air is created between the two cars, and the car in the back has less downforce on it. This means in a straight line it can go faster, however in a corner it can create a push condition. This adds another critical tool for drivers to use to create passes on the straightaway or set somebody up going into a corner. And at a track like Daytona, that's the only way to pass somebody. If you ever watch the Daytona 500, you might notice it looks like everybody's just following each other around in a big circle. That's because they're trying not to lose the draft. If a single car falls away from the pack of cars, they'll instantly lose all of their speed and be quickly off the pace. On to our last topic, the dynamics of the competition. We've already discussed that NASCAR is a team sport. Teams have pit crews, plus engineers and people that help set up the car. They have their crew chiefs and PR guys, you name it. A team can have 20, maybe even 30 people at the track for a weekend. We've also talked about the fact that there are 40 drivers on the track at a time. One of the things that makes racing, and NASCAR specifically, unique is the fact that it's a centralized sport. In any other sport, like basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever, you name it, there are many teams playing against each other all across the nation or all across the world. In NASCAR, everybody is at one location. You can pretty much go to a track on a weekend and get one piece of the entire story of that NASCAR season.
Are there multiple drivers on one team? Or is everything geared towards that one driver? Surely there must be backup drivers. Or is the championship team based or individual? I mean, I know in Formula One, for instance, that uh, there's a team section as well as an individual drivers competition. So it doesn't work the same way. If a driver gets injured, for instance, does someone else take his place in his car? And that car qualifies, still remains qualified for the competition. That's it.
It's also incredible to think about rivalry.
69 to go. I wonder how many laps in total there are. 69 laps. What do you say, 3 to 5 hours? All right, I can't do the maths.
And tensions between competitors. In sports, generally, if you have a rivalry, you won't meet that team again for another few weeks, a month. But in NASCAR, you're seeing the same people week to week. This is how tensions rise in NASCAR, and you can follow a story between two teams battling back and forth, and there really is no lull in the action. They're battling every week. So there it is. These are 5 things I wish I could tell people about before they watch their first NASCAR race. Thank you
That's
for...
an enormous crowd. This must be a fantastically popular sport. I mean, I've heard Americans talk about it, obviously, but when I visited, I was in the northern part of America. Is it more popular in the southern states? There didn't seem to be much of a following where I was, or it's just a television sport and wherever it's live. How many events do they have in a year? How many races? There must be a lot of tracks. I mean, obviously, he's mentioned Daytona. Now, that rings a bell. Is there a big race? Why is this Indianapolis? Perhaps that's something to look into. I'll have to watch an entire race.
Watching this video, and I'd like to take this time to dedicate it to C.W. Smith. He was a race car driver that raced in the Busch and ARCA series back in the late 90s and early 2000s. He was from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, right near where I live. He was larger than life to me when I first heard of him, but after I met him, I realized he was a very down-to-earth guy. He passed away on November 4th, 2017. He was one of the many people that got my dad and I involved in racing all those years ago, and without him, I really wouldn't be where I am today. When I was in pro stocks, I raced a chassis he built, and he became an invaluable friend of my dad's when they would talk about setting up the race car and learning how to work on a late model. Thank you, CW.
Mike, we caught up with C.W. Smith. The C.W., you're going to have a good finish. What's put you in the garage?
Well, I saw a black car in front of me coming through 4. He was smoking, then I saw the right front let loose. Ran over the tire when it cut off the rim, put a hole in the radiator. Our guys are trying to fix it right now, but I doubt very much when we got time to do it. Panasonic car was just super.
Accents are amazing. I barely understood a word he said.
We've been in Talladega with this.
I hope you can understand what I'm saying with my South African accent.
Sponsorship, and we wanted to make them proud.
Thanks. Tough luck.
Thank you.
Another strange thing.
I'd like to thank Joe Lusk Racing. Joe Lusk Racing. I think that's what his name is. Lusk. For this fascinating video. Please check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description below. Give him a like, subscribe to his channel, as I have. And thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions for any other sport related, NASCAR, any other American sports you think I should have a look at, please feel free to comment. If you like the content, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, share with everybody in the world, please. That would be incredible. Thank you for watching.